Live, guys.
Awesome. Are we live now, you guys? We're good?
Yep, all good to go.
All right. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. You guys haven't talked to in a minute. Hello to the chat. Hi, cats. What's good, everybody?
Hello.
I'm good.
Yeah, we haven't hung out in a while. I know. Yeah. So today, basically, James has some stuff he wants to share regarding snakes and the construction of Earth. Possibly, he's got he's got some ideas, and he wants to share some of these ideas with us, and we can question him on this stuff after. So, yeah, James, the floor is yours, brother. Let us know what up.
Okay, well, we've been told a lot of things about rocks and sedimentation, all kinds of stuff about how our world formed and stuff. Well, I've noticed a few things, and I'm going to try to share them today with everyone. And what I see now is that what we look at as rocks, hills, and formations, and even these famous old sites in Peru and stuff, are basically constructed from a natural material. And that natural material happens to be snakes. Now, um, snakes, well, they're very flexible. And well, how could you use a snake to make rock? Well, the process is called petrification. And science actually lies a lot when they say stuff, but petrification does not take millions of years. In fact, it's a fairly short process. But I'm going to start sharing the screen with some images that are basically snakeheads, just to give you an idea of the size of some of these creatures that were used in the construction. And then I'll be showing you them in the constructions and how they're used and how really wonderful a building material this is for all things big and small. But let me get a share screen going here. Okay, we'll share this one. And now we can share some snakeheads. Now, these are monuments of snakeheads, basically. I'll wait till someone tells me they can see what I'm sharing.
Yeah, it's all good to go there, Jim.
We're good, okay. Yeah. So this so-called, monument is a snakehead sticking out of the ground, basically, okay? Just as this sort of balancing rock up in India, we do see sort of an eye, and it is really, although it doesn't seem like it, a snakehead. And it is huge. Here's another snakehead facing up. Now, this is also snake made. There's several snakes involved in this, but it's composed of snakes. Here we go with another example of a snakehead. This is a snake flipped on its head, and of course has no body because it's just the head. But everywhere you go, we have these petrified monuments, and they are basically snakeheads of quite a substantial size. Now, when I say this world was made and built from snakes, we're going to see a few examples, including from small homes first. And this is an example of a small home coming up. Just have to scroll a bit here. Just be a second. Let me open this a bit. Here we go. So this is a home. Now, it's actually made of snake. On the top here, this stone slab, or these stone slabs, you can see face of a snake, another portion of a snake. Coming up this wall here are snakeheads. This construction is made of crystallized or petrified snake. There's probably an eye socket right there. We have another home. Again, this home. Here again, we see the eye, part of the mouth, And this slab is made of snake. This second slab over here is also made of snake. And it happens to be on top of, if you look closely, you see a nose and a mouth. These snake slabs were put on a hollowed skull and turned into a building or a home or a bungalow or whatever you want to call it. It was a dwelling made from snake. Now, the snakes, again, it's a flexible substance that can be crystallized fairly easily. And here we have an Indian cathedral. Now, on the roof, okay, that arcing, those arches are actually made from snakes, where the bottom jaw has been pulled off to create a little wedge so that it can hook onto, well, basically another snake that's petrified horizontally. Just as in this row here, this is entirely composed of petrified snakes coming all the way around. So this again up here, more petrified snake going around, making another support header. And again, those headers support these things that are the dome structure of this building. So that's one way they were used in construction. Here, believe it or not, these are stairways made of snake. Here at the side to the left, you can see a snake head. There's his eye, there's his mouth. If you look, there's snake heads throughout the stairs. They're crisscrossed, but this path is made from snake. I imagine that these depressions here on the sides were crushed in to allow for drainage before it was crystallized. Here's one of the paths in the Grand Canyon. Notice at the side of the road here, the shape of all these rocks, they're snake heads, every one of them. They have an eye, they have a mouth, or they have half heads because they're split. But here's one on its side. That's an eye. This is a snake head. This is the underside of the snake, probably, the roof of its mouth. There's another snake. So this road, this red, is basically snake. Here's another road, similar. Did we show this one? Yeah, it's the same one. But again, it's another path, but it's a path made again from snake. We can get to some more structures with snake. Here's the inside of a building. Now, the heads are a little harder to see and stuff, but you definitely have snake eyes and a mouth here, part of the nose here. This was shored up or built with snake. Here's a snake eye, here's a snake head. All of this was stuffed into place wet and petrified in place. Here's another snake head here. These stairs were made of snake. This is a blueprint kind of map of one of those, sacred sites or whatever. Here you can see the outline of a human head. Here you can see the outline of a snake head, basically. Here you can see stones that are snake head, basically, snake head. And again, on the other side, a few snake heads that are evident. But again, we're looking at petrified snakes and snake meat. Okay, we can move on to, I guess this is one of the castles in Britain there, somewhere in England. But again, along this castle wall are many snakeheads. These walls down here are composed of snakes, but they're a lot smaller. But there were always, big snakes. I think this silhouette of red here is someone face down or sideways in the water. Titan, possibly. That's another story. But again, this castle has a bunch of snake heads on the walkway, and these walls were laid down as wet snakes and petrified in place. Moving along. Well, here's another nice structure made of snakes. This is one of these underground, well, tunnel systems and stuff. But all through the layout, we can see snake heads, basically. Eyes and mouths. And this snake is biting onto the one in front because they use the fangs to hook and lock, right? And then again, they could shape it any shape they wanted, petrify it, and again, across here, there's a bunch of headers. They're all basically snakes or snake heads, parts of snake. This whole row, it's a snake. This is snake head going back this way. This whole cellar is constructed of snake. It's petrified. We can come back to what Sylvie thinks are tire tracks and stuff, when in actuality, these are more snakes that are laid out and petrified, vitrified. Exactly why, I don't know, you know, but that is what they are. Here we have some really dramatic stairs or a dig, and these stairs, petrified snake, these rocks, snakehead, 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 eyes and mouth. These are all petrified or vitrified snakes. All these digs, all these old sites, they're all vitrified snake. Now, in Russia, they claim that this was where the Tunguski event happened. Well, next time you have a chance, go look at it close up. You'll see it's nothing but a pile of snakeheads and part of whatever it was. It's part of a construction. It's not a random crater or nothing from no impact. Something blew up in the sky. They went looking, they found this, and they associated the two. Yet they have nothing to do with each other in all likelihood. This is a pile of snakeheads and a construction. So, you know, people, what can you do? Now, here in construction, I don't know how well you can see this, but around the top, nice blocks. But again, these are made from snakes. Here's an eye, here's a part of a mouth. On the ground, more just scrap snakeheads. Another building next door, a snake eye in the block. It's vitrified snake. So, got some more examples. Is these blocks that no one can understand. If you look down the side here, you see a snake eye, you see a snake head, it's slightly rounded. Every portion of these things is vitrified snake. If you look closely, there's snake heads everywhere. So we go to another one, probably see the snake heads a little better on this. There's a snake head, snake head, snake head, you know? They're just all over. These things were molded, shaped from snakes and vitrified. So we'll get to some other stuff. We've covered cathedrals, stairways. Now, this is a heck of a stairway. I think it's, I don't know where it is, but you can see a snake head here. Every one of these stairs, that's a snake head there coming back, snake head there. These are vitrified snakes, even coming up the sides. There's no reason for rocks to be extruded from lava and all this stuff, and have snake eyes and heads on freaking everyone. There's a very definite eye, and you know, the fact that there's so many means they're petrified snakes. But no one seems to be able to see that. Well, I hope people can start seeing it now. Here's another doohickey that I don't know, made for whatever, but snakeheads. It's made from snakeheads. Joined, and they made a trough. It's an industrial tool for them. They could make any shape, bowls, you name it. You just had to twist the snake up a bit, petrify it. Now, here's a beautiful example of snakes in a building in Asia. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but these are all snakes that were piled and vitrified. And that's how they made these buildings. And again, you know, I'm sort of suspecting that the size of the snakes and the blocks indicate the period, because again, the later on in history, the smaller the snakes they were able to, you know, harvest. That's just a wild guess. But we'll go on, and we're still into, well, snakes and building and other stuff. So let's see what else could be fun in this. Well, here's a snake path. Again, you know, we couldn't take a crew of 100 men today with all the machines we have and lay down a path this nice. This is just amazing creation, and it's done from snake. What do we have on this one? That's that one. Here we have Buddy, who's, you know, one of these researchers and stuff, travels all around. Now, I don't know where he is, but here's eyes and a snake head across this as a header. There's more snake head right here, another snake head there, part of its body, or maybe another snake head cut. Snake head, on and on, snake head. I don't know what else to call it, a freak of nature. Here's a snake head. So I don't know if people are convinced yet that these constructions were made of snakes, but it's certainly starting to look like that now. I have a few of the castles in Ireland. I don't know if we covered this one yet. Yes, we have. And this one, I suppose, the white one. Yes, we have. We'll try to get the castle in Ireland. Should be. Here we go. Here's one of the castles. Now, this is in Europe again there. It's one of the castles in Europe, but this railing here that people are following up, there's your nice snake eye. These stairs that people are climbing up, there's a nice snake eye right there, a little bit of a mouth. Again, these stairs, probably this whole castle, was made from wet snakes that were petrified, made solid. We have more from the castles too. We'll get to them in a second.
Yeah, James. It's pretty interesting stuff, man.
Yeah, here's another, again, English castle with snake heads. So I don't know, there's, you know, we can keep on going and going, but everywhere you look, you know, I hate to say it though, even, you know, snake heads up on these pillars here, you know, snake heads used to level, you know, things as bases. They're just, it's a universal tool. Here in this column, you can see snake head in this granite from the bottom up. Why are these ghosts of snakes in this granite? It's because they make up the granite. They were molded and formed as pillars. We have pictures of these pillars on the ground, molded and, well, for whatever reason, not used. But here we have some on the ground that were definitely prepared and not used. And in the background, you see snake heads, some stuff that wasn't needed. But again, every one of these pillars is composed of snakes that had been vitrified. And they were produced there and never used. So they really didn't have to quarry anything or use huge saws to cut nothing out. Because again, when I say everything was made from snake, here's a platform out in the Grand Canyon. Well, believe it or not, it's made of snake. You know, snake after snake after snake. But here we have a basin of some kind. Again, we see snake heads. This entire thing is a ring of snake. What you have in the back is a bunch of discarded snake heads or whatever they're doing there, maybe used on other stuff elsewhere. But again, this ring and this well, made from snake. We have another example. You can see this snake is biting that snake and coming around, and well, they made this for whatever reason they made it. But it is a construction, and it was made out of snake. And it was made out of wet snake that was vitrified. Now, the agent that they use to vitrify stuff is called water glass. It's basically glass and water. and a little bit of chemical to help the exchange into the cells and stuff, and job is done. Maybe 35 degrees of heat, not too much, above room temperature. Job is done in a few days, not in millions of years. Here's another really small ring, but I don't know what that one was for. Now here's snakes as headers. This is a huge snake head. It was used to cross over and create a pathway. There's another one there. It's not a stone. It wasn't extruded from lava. It's a vitrified snake. Here we have Petra. Now, not only do we see human figures and heads, but there's still, again, the snake is omnipresent in the construction here. There's snakes leading all the way down here. They're used in construction. Let's see more of Petra. Where is Petra? Well, here's a snake with a bunch of composite in it. You see his head, just different things attained with snake, if you will. Here's a buddy geologist explaining all these technical stuff of how geology formed all this, and he's looking at snakeheads and lying every inch of the way about what they are. But that's normal. That's been the case for a long, long time. So we did that one. I'm sorry if we're repeating. And, well, we'll go for a few more, and then I guess call it sort of quits. Again, I'd like to, I don't have any close-ups, I think, of that hexagon stuff. Separating folders. This is a nice well, again, made of rings of snake going down to the water source. These stones are basically parts of snakes. Meat portions that separated from each other. This is a huge wall, but again, the older the walls, the bigger the snakes were. This is the size of one of the heads of old. So I don't know if that's getting on enough. Here's some fine work done with snakes. These walls, and we've all seen a few in different towns and different places. Again, snake eyes, snake mouth and heads. It's petrified or vitrified snake. That staircase. There's some pretty dramatic staircases, actually. This is in one of the castles in Europe. And again, all this granite, it's all made from vitrified snakes. There's a snake head right there. So, and I'm sure like there might be humans involved because that looks like somebody's face, but hard to say because I'm sure they did incorporate, you know, human remains into castles and other stuff too. I'm sure they created enough of them to have some to use. That's another story. But this one we've done. Oh no, we didn't do this one. This one is sort of kind of really, really nice. It's part of, I guess, in Europe somewhere, one of these mazes. But when you think of how well laid out it is, this is no erosion tunnel, and this is part of a construction. But again, a construction snakehead right here by an arcing around the entranceway. They use snakeheads to build probably every square inch of it. So it's another thing, you know, tunneling system, whatever, built with what was formerly crawling creepy snakes for the most part, and they're just everywhere. This guy's platform is got snakes, so his chair, his throne of this giant or whatever was basically made of vitrified snake. You see these eyes and everything all around. Here's another portion of a cut snake head. This whole thing. Now, when I say every hill and every nook and cranny, literally, I mean every hill you look at, if you look from a little distance for the shape of a snake, you'll probably see it, you know, on an open hill. That was that one. Okay, so let me see if I have any I really haven't covered. Again, pretty well. There's another little abode. Giant snakehead here, snake, more snake heads, snakes to make the roof. It's just a snake abode. This whole place was put together with snakes. Here's some more. Here's one thing that's interesting too. I don't know why the little honeycomb effect, but in some of the places, I suspect it's just bone that's exposed. Cells from a bone, lung, or other thing. I really don't know. Maybe they skinned these snakes before they used them for style. But you can see easily the header here is a snake. These two posts are snake heads, butted end to end, I guess. This whole thing is made of snakes. The floor here, you got snake eyes, you got everything. And that's just for the construction. That's why I don't have the roads and other stuff in there. It's a sort of another thing. But here's snake roads. There's one snake head up here, pretty cut up. Another snake head here. Let's see for this road. See, nice bright red road, little steps going up, and nothing but snake heads around. This was man-made, or at least giant-made, or someone made it. This isn't from erosion. And, you know, everything you see was created, it was built. And it seems a lot of it was built from snakes, including this path. Off in the distance, you see a nose here attached to what looks like a big skull on this little level landing. The odds are it is a skull of a titan right there. Most people just see rocks because we've been told, oh, it's just a coincidence. Oh, it just looks like a face. It's not. That was a titan. That's somewhere in Death Valley, I imagine, this one. And again, snakes in the roads. Well, this is the road into Death Valley. It's composed of snakes layered upon each other, layered upon layer of snakes. That's not from sedimentation. It's not from erosion after a great flood. This was constructed. This path was made. These valleys, they come up from the swamps and stuff. I don't know the whole history, but again, you know, these things brought us out of a lower place on this home we have. Here's a snake just on the grass, kind of, if you will, to have an idea. Several sections that broke off, but it's all probably one snake. Looks like just a bunch of big rocks. If you didn't know better, that's what you'd think it was. But to think way back, these bunch of rocks were alive and slithering. It's a lot different thing. And it don't matter how far back you go, this is an old dig or something. I don't know what they call it there. But again, all along these rocks, you can see that it's just snakes. Snakes that have been laid down and petrified, going up and up and up. And all these places like Zion National Park, what is it, the Death Valley, all these deep canyons and valleys with all these so-called erosions and ruins. Like Colorado is not, when you look at it, it's not, but there's some erosion, but as a city, it is one of our first cities. All of these places were very early places of habitation of all kinds of people and things. So, you know, as far as so-called geology, sedimentation, all this volcanology, all this nonsense, when you're looking at the world, try to think anatomy, because that's what you're really looking at. The rest, they're gobbledygook, their mysticism and lies, like convoluting everything. No, what you're looking at is a world built on snakes. That's all there is to it. They were great building material. They were crystallizable. They were petrifiable in short times. And that's what we see. And that's where we are. No more geology. And there are no giant tree stumps on flat Earth. They are snakes. The Giant's Causeway is snakes. So just go to the beach there and look for the snakeheads and put all these myths to rest. And that should do it. That should be enough. I don't know what to say.
Wow. That's all I can say. I wanted to ask you about, you're going on about the snakeheads. You don't think other densified animals were used for some of these structures?
Absolutely. Human skulls, anything at all. If you know what's really funny, when you go to Nepal, there's one real popular tourist mountain that you go on. Next door to it, there's an even higher mountain, and there's a whale pointed upright on that mountain, and it blows out clouds, and it blows out morning dew.
I actually did see that, yeah.
It's a petrified whale on a mountaintop.
Yeah, I think you shared it with us on the back chat one time.
Yeah, there's just so much, that, you just can't cover everything, But,
when you were talking about that you wanted to do something on snakes, I was thinking something what Mud Fossil presented yesterday. Roger presented this huge snake that took up the whole coastline of Peru all the way down to
I hope
Antarctic.
He sees this, because
I thought you were going to go into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm a supporter of his work. He does great stuff, and I'm pretty sure he's right about what he's talking about. He's researching good, and he's objective. He knows what he's talking about. I'm good with that. I hope he sees this too, as far as simple construction goes, and that's what we're talking about. It's not rocket science. It's simple vitrification of a flexible material, and that's what this world was built out of. Some of them were really huge flexible material, really huge. But, we're in a world of, not fantasy, but titans and giants that were real. And they fell all over this earth, and they're covered up, and they're mountains now. Our mountains are fallen titans. So live with it. This world was not a big bang. This world was not, sedimentation that formed the Grand Canyon and all these other valleys. No, those were our first cities. They were hell, or they wound up being hell, but they were our first cities. They are constructions. They are organized. They failed. We're here now. But there is.
Anybody have any questions? Does anybody have questions for James? This is all new to me. I don't even know what to. I'm still trying to make sense of what you were saying. I haven't heard this before yet, James.
It makes sense to me, Jim, because we have kind of come out with this proverbial soup mess at the bottom of the chain there, and kind of been worked up, and obviously giants, titans, the part of the process of where humanity is today. It makes sense to me. This is where we've progressed to today, and we're obviously a different scale. And I can see now where the technology was even brought in that we discuss in other research to help make this realm more survivable for our kind of species. This realm, this halo system, electromagnetics, lightning, this will keep any very large predator from getting within this realm.
Well, it's theoretical too. Still, that's supposition or hypothetical. But anyway, the snakes for me, they're very concrete. Constructing with them and vitrifying them is not a problem. I don't have any issues with that. They're there to see. They're easy to see actually. Once you turn your eyes, they were used in every way, shape, and form. They were even used in Ireland in these castles and stuff like this picture. You can see that it's pretty recent because that's a cannon hole, and that's a pretty modern war type of layout, a sniper hole. They don't have that in the old Incas and stuff, little places to fire out of like that, So this was made pretty recently and out of snakes. So there, when you have these legends about St. Patrick chasing the snakes out of Ireland and stuff, I wouldn't doubt it now. There were a lot of snakes. I mean, they could build castles out of snakes. They did. And roads. Cover titans.
The process, you were saying this process from organic material to being densified or petrified?
Yeah.
Do you want to go over that again? Because, I was just like, what?
There's a product called water glass. Everyone who has a hot water heater Eventually, it'll malfunction or not really run well because of this product. It builds up in your hot water tank, and it's basically dissolved glass in water, and it concentrates. But that same product called water glass, it's a sodium silicate. It's glass in water, and when water gets in stuff, it soaks it, it penetrates, and well, when it gets into like organic matter, it leaves the glass behind because the glass says, well, it was nice being with you, but I'm happier here. I get together with some more glass and form a big crystal. Don't care about the water no more. So the water glass easily gives up the glass that's in it. If it starts soaking organic material and stuff, it's going to deposit the glass in it. It'll exchange. It'll take something more soluble and drop the less soluble. It's just an exchange. But it vitrifies. It makes flesh or organic things turn to glass, turn to stone. It's a process. And it doesn't take millions of years like these science liars want. I have a picture of one of the queens who was vitrified. So unless she's been vitrified for millions of years, I don't believe that it takes very long to vitrify something. Let me see if I can find her. Did I share that? I'll get her online. It's just easier that way. I won't have to search my files. But we'll show you a nice vitrified.
So what got you going into this research, this area of research? As far as, I mean, I know what your specialty is, but you know, going into the mud fossil direction in Titans, what got you going that way?
I really don't know. I really can't say the minute that I said, "Wow, it's all snakes." I don't know. They're well, I started seeing a lot of snakeheads in the water. Yeah, right? I was on 80 hours, I think, with no sleep when it hit me. You know, so I was in spots. I was hallucinating, making stuff up. But no, I'm kidding. But I was out of it. But this is, you know, in a sense, when you learn stuff like this, it's a shock. And you go through stages, kind of, you know, because you have to settle down again and say, well, I must be dreaming because it's not possible. That's not right. Because, again, I'm a person like anyone who was taught about sedimentary rock, about volcanoes, about uplift, about all the, you know, and all this convoluted bullcrap that they serve up as geology and science. Oh, what a convoluted bunch of bullshitters. But I'm sorry, I don't want to go there. But no, I don't know. I just.
Do you see any correlation with? I mean, I know it's in a different direction, but does it correlate with anything that you guys have been doing? You know, is there any connection to some of the grid and to the PowerPoints and whatnot? Without going into too much, is there any correlation, or is this just something? Okay.
Well, over to that's what I was hitting at before. Over time, you know, obviously it became a golden age where they were doing technology and all kinds, but that's another story.
Yeah. All right.
But I believe that's once you start looking for these snakeheads, and that's anywhere, any Punta Pinta or wherever, Peru, Argentina, anywhere they have these old ruins, Turkey, you name it. Look for the snakeheads and the clues that they're snakes in the construction. And the farther back in time they go, the larger the snakes that were used. Like, you know, the base of, look, and some people say, oh, someone built on top of that. That's possible. That's true. Like at Balak and all that stuff. But it's also possible there were different crews to handle different sizes of installation. So there could have been one size of a crew to come and do the foundations because, you know, they were tremendous blocks. And then on top of that was a smaller build, you know, or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't necessarily mean because there's two separate types of stones in one sort of wall that it was two different periods. You know, can't draw conclusions. But all the walls are snakes nonetheless. And all these things that are made and these square or granite boxes inside the pyramid is made of snake. All of it's vitrified snake. Even the pyramids themselves. Look, let's go take a close-up of a sphinx and the pyramid. I don't know why I don't see my sphinx here, but we don't really have to. Anyone can do it. You just go to Google, search up a bunch of close-ups of the pyramids, and darn if you don't see that. Here we go. We've got the pyramids here. Now, you look at this pyramid. No, oh, they quarried the stone. Ba ba ba. Wah wah wah. No, snake biting into other snake. These stones are all snakes. Snake head on the ground. 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 Hint, 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 hint. Now, people, you know, glue bags, it's time to put them down. These geology professors, they call them, it's time to give them their glue bag and a bigger tube of glue or take it away from them. But they can't have it both ways. And all these pathetic experts in Egyptology who after 1,000 years can't see a snake head on the ground when there's 1,000 of them. People, give me a break. You know, eyes wide shut. So, of course, there'll be people watch this who say, oh, that's not snakes. Oh, no, no, no. They carved them. They hauled them. They levitated them. Go to hell. These are snakes. These pyramids were built from snakes. Here's another one. You want more snake heads? There's a snake head right there in the middle. Snake heads all over. What more do you want? There's 1, 2, 3 little snake heads. I mean, you want to count 100 snake heads? There's 100 in here. So, you want quarries that made all these rocks? Here's a beautiful example of some very ornate rock work. But again, it's all snakes. They even drew some squiggly snakes on the rocks here to show snaky wakey. But again, you know, you can tell just by the kind of flow of the rock that it's snakes. They weren't quarried in all those various sizes. They just...
It's pretty wild, man. I mean, I gotta look into this some more. I mean, I see some of it, but I need to look at it a little bit more myself. I need to go through the same journey you're going through to get to the point where you are.
Down on the sidewalk, you see a snake head, right?
Yeah, it's definitely. You know what I'm saying. I have to.
Yeah, you do your search. Yeah, you do your research.
And but
I'm everywhere now.
Thank you for sharing that, and it's intriguing. It's something that maybe some people need to look into also. One, are you still there? I want to know what One Conscience thinks.
There's another one with staircases, just beautiful staircases, and you see a snake head, just made of snakes. Here's a snake, bigger one right here, big eye. It's all snakes. Don't know if we did this one. But again, snake staircase. They're beautiful. Here's a snake and, cascading rail. All snake. You could do anything. Looks like a human face on the ground here, unfortunately. Very well could be. But people only see a rock. But that's another one that's just all snake. Another snake staircase. Okay, well, I'm going to end it, and I got the door, so
okay.
Let me see. Let's just find a way out of here.
James, thank you.
My pleasure. Enjoy.
That. Yeah, thank you.
Hide, stop, and window. Oh, it's all the way behind all these. 1 minute.
All right, you guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can see where it's coming from because I've been following his research and he's been showing me, giving me updates, and the more you look, the more you see certain things jumping out at you. You need to do the easy, medium, and then the hard research that Jimbo's done, all the imagery for them, and eventually you start pulling things out yourself. I would imagine any kind of life form probably got used in the building process.
Well, I was thinking that also, but God. It's really deep. I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? To be honest,
I know.
I'm sure a lot of people are a little taken by it.
I know there's like snakes referenced in scripture. Cleaning them up the Garden of Eden. Well, you got to ask yourself how big are these snakes? I suppose there's giants and titans. There must have been big animals, and who knows what else going on out there. Dragons. You've seen these dragons. Titans lying there on the ground.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
I'll tell you what we haven't seen yet is any dinosaurs. We have not seen one dinosaur-looking species in any of these rocks anywhere. Seen every other species, but not dinosaurs.
No, if they did find these bones that they did find, in my opinion, is just massive animals of those times, of the ancient times when everything was larger, or Jurassic, if you will. And they're just portraying them off as some giant reptilian that lived here, and you know what, to their scale. And but I mean, that's just my take on that whole thing. But I don't think they're hiding the real titans and giant humans.
Aren't the bones they use in museums not even the real bones?
Yeah, they're all replicas. They're a plaster or something like that.
Because they're too brittle. After being in the ground for millions of years, they're too brittle to put on display.
Right. Yeah, that's all BS. But what do you think about the snakes being from being organic material and being densified or petrified in a matter of just a couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever he was insinuating?
I can see it. You know what? I mean, I see a lot of the things he's pointing out, and some I might not see, but as for the petrifying instantly, well, we looked into that, and it's very possible, just like he explained. And so it wouldn't really take much. I mean, it really wouldn't take much to instantly petrify whatever you were using to build. So.
How does one tame one of these snakes to petrify? How many?
Well, I mean, how many stories did we have of them slaying dragons in the past? How did they slay the dragon?
Right. Exactly. You got to use your imagination.
And then as for like drawing them out, like they were, like he was saying with the old stories, well, they use tones, right, to do that. Some kind of vibration would draw them to wherever, or I mean, I don't think it would be as hard as we may think, because the people were bigger too. It's not like we'd be just little people trying to go up against these massive creatures. I don't know though. I mean, it's definitely looking into. It could be anything. Ball game. What I do know is we've been lied to about everything. Why not this too?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, everybody just needs to do their own research, look into it, and draw their own conclusions.
Exactly.
And that's what James is going. James, he's on his journey. This is what he's doing, and it's great that he shared that with us. But it's definitely something I need to look into personally, and just go down that trail and see what's there. And I think everybody else should do the same thing to see where this is going. Which direction this is going into. But
I agree. I mean, all the old stories, they say stuff like this, There's lots of snakes in the past, ancient stories. There's definitely titans and giants in all the ancient stories. So we do need to look into it. Maybe we can find more of our true histories.
What do you think, Katz?
Like you said, I don't know where it's going, but
yeah.
I really believe there were giant snakes before, but I don't know.
There goes that word again. Believe. You have to believe. I want something a little bit more substantial than that.
Yeah.
When it comes to this thing.
That's true too. Yeah. Well, I say it because I say it. But yeah, one thing too is that snakes, in some countries, they eat the snake. They dry it up and they eat the snake. It's good for a lot of things for your body. Just to let people know that the dry snake, you eat it once a day, and it's supposed to help with cancer as well. So just letting you guys know.
Yeah, they make good belts, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They make great shoes. So do gators and crocodiles. So why not build a house out of them? Let's build a house out of crocodiles. Yeah. Well, anyways, what's going on, you guys? What else is going on?
I guess
When
one
we
way
do
of
some
checking.
research discussions, FPV, since we're all here right now.
Well, I was just going to say, I guess one way of checking is, was it Bud Fossil University got some DNA done on a rock and it come back as human? Is that what I heard correctly? That someday on here?
That was something that he claimed, but no one has
Because,
seen
you know,
any numbers on that or any. Yeah, there's no
right. So we haven't seen any
no
actual.
documentation that it has been verified. You gotta, it's like it's
Well,
a
you
whole
know,
process.
that's the only way you can do it. Really, is take some samples
Exactly.
and have it analysed, see what it is. You know, if there's snake DNA in there, then yeah, it's nobody's with me believing that for a minute. You know, titans and giants.
Yeah, when you have tangible,
landscape.
when you have evidence like that, then you have physical, tangible evidence that's, pointing to that. Then you're good. But anywho, when you have to use your imagination and whatnot, and believe in some of these things, then it kind of muddies the water of the whole thing. It taints it a little bit. In my opinion.
Well, we're going back in history there to beyond where my research started. So, you've got to take it on to account. Take it on board and consider it until proven otherwise. I'm quite happy to go along with Jimbo's saying. You can see these giants and titans all over the landscapes, everywhere. They're just popping out everywhere.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. We just need a little bit more evidence. That's all.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see some DNA.
Like you said, the DNA thing would be key. That's
well,
significant, actually.
Like another thing that's come out of that is this petrification process, and the materials used therein. And I put a link in the chat there. These materials are actually in use quite a lot today. On a broad spectrum of shit, food, drinks, water, you name it. These materials are all over the place. Are we absorbing them? There's something else that needs looking at. What are we absorbing from these materials that's man's creating? These plastics, things like that. Silicon,
synthetics.
Yeah. Silicon, I was going to say, and a bit of heat.
Going back to the research night, when do you guys want to do this?
Well, the research we're doing at the moment, it's kind of slowed down. It's data gathering, which is slow going. I mean, if one's anything she wants to show, by all means, we can jump in and do a presentation.
I was thinking of doing like a recap. People want to know about our working model and probably how we obtain some of this information and
I've been thinking that as well.
And so that needs some. And people need to know about how that was retrieved. That's all, and we should do that again. I tell them to go watch the videos, but some people want a live cast. They want to be able to interact and question you guys about that.
And there's a lot of videos to go through now. So I was thinking myself, we do need to condense it into talk through it as it's speeded up a bit more in the background kind of deal. just a reminder. This is where we're coming from.
Yeah. Hey, have you talked to Sirius?
Not for possibly a week or so now. No.
All right. Yeah. Anybody that's listening, Sirius has done the 4K rendering of the magnetic data, and he's the guy that didn't use or remove the algorithm to get the working map that we have right now. And I know he's a busy guy, so it'd be great to have him on board maybe one night and explain some of the things that he's done and how he achieved them as well.
Yeah.
Because then people think you're just speculating and no one's really doing any real research and putting time in, when in fact you guys are putting in lots of time and people need to know this. This is not just you guys put an hour in and then leave. You're putting hours in, hours on in.
Yeah. To progress our research more, and especially ones on the planetary motions and stuff, we are going to have a chat with Santos Bonacci, and that'll be live on here sometime in the near future. Between us and Santos, there's areas that between us all we can touch upon and maybe progress those areas a bit further for both parties.
Definitely. Yep. He's a really smart guy. He knows a lot. And he's basically on board with with your model and whatnot, with the working model that we have based on the data. He's with it, which is good.
But it's
And,
good that he can add more to this input. You
he
know,
can definitely,
there's
yeah.
a lot there that we can't answer.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good.
And some of the data gathering in the background, we had a failure. We're on a website. It was Iron FE's. It went down the site, but he's going to fix it. So, you know, he's noticed it go offline. So he's checked up over on, and it's okay. He's going to get it back on again sometime. That was the
Ron from Iron Flat Earth. He's contributed quite a bit of stuff too. He's helped you out. You know, there's a crew here that's getting stuff together, you guys. So
there is.
You know, when I mention it on some of the chats, they think I'm just blowing smoke up their ass, but it's like no, like legit. These guys are really getting things together and putting data together and making sense of everything.
P900 cool picks in chat, Sandra. She's doing some gathering for us.
There you go.
That's been recorded every time the sun's out. So yeah, well done to Sandra and that Sunspot team there.
You know, I say that because it is progressing in the right direction. So, you know, we have something to work off and then move forward from there. And that's what you guys have been doing. I know we're getting off topic. We're talking about snakes before and all that, but it's something I just wanted to talk about since we're all here. And for anybody listening, they could join us in the future when you guys get that together. The next discussion.
Yeah, good way.
Yeah, I've got good stuff to share next time.
Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or do you guys want to shut this down and call it a day?
Yeah, we'll shut it down because it was mainly Jimbo's Snakes and Ladders presentation. So all good with me. Cool.
Yeah. Well, shout out to everybody in the chat, whoever's there. I don't even know what's going on out there. But thank you guys for coming through and chilling with us. Cats, you know what to do.
Yeah, I do. Look, everyone in chats, thank you for coming out again, supporting me. I will be doing Hangouts again. I've been very busy, honestly, with my own business. But we should return back doing Hangouts. I miss you guys all as well, and I know we all do. Of course, everybody on the panel. So just to let you guys know, heads up, I hope I can do one tonight. I'm not sure. I'll cross my finger if I can get a few people on. But I'll be back. No worries. So thanks for everyone asking me and Totter and whoever you guys been asking if we were doing Hangouts. But we are. Again, thanks for coming by. And stay tuned. We'll be back.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.